Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to part 2 of the tessellation series on this channel. In this video we are going to use one of the methods of creating tessellations that I have discussed in my part 1, and that method is called the translation method. Now guys, in order to completely and fully understand this video, I would highly recommend to watch my previous video, because that video discusses the basic concepts of tessellation. So if you are not familiar with the basic concepts, this video might be kind of difficult for you to understand. So anyway, let's just jump into it. First we need to create the document. So I'm going to go to file, new, and create a square document. Let's just make it 1200 by 1200 points, and it is highly recommended to create a square document because we are going to export repeating tile, and because we are going to use the square shape of the basic element. That is why it is important to create a square document. And then it does not matter whether you create an artboard or not, that totally depends upon you. Then the color format, you can choose whatever you want depending upon your requirement, and then let's just press create. Now why I have chosen 1200 by 1200 and not 1000 by 1000 or any other number, I have discussed this in my previous videos, and if you want to learn about that, you can definitely watch those videos in which I have created different patterns using the same document size. And just to help you understand that, I have chosen it so that I can use different numbers like 300 and 400, because 300 and 400 can give me 1200, and if I divide 1200 by 300 and 400, I get a whole number. So simply you can use 12 inches by 12 inches, and you can use numbers like 3 and 4 for your basic square shape. So that totally depends upon you, but I find this number to be very helpful when I'm creating patterns. The first thing that we are going to create is a simple sphere. So I'm going to use this rectangle tool, press the shift key, and create a sphere. It does not matter which size, because we are going to adjust the size in our transform panel. So as I already discussed, I can use 300 by 300 and 400 by 400. So let's just say we can use 300 by 300 sphere size, and let's just align it to the center here, and remove any kind of fill color, and let's give it a stroke with yeah, that is fine. So we are going to use the same concept that I discussed in the previous video, but we are going to create it with a different technique, so a different approach to creating these kind of patterns. The concept will be the same, but the technique and the method will be slightly different, and this method is going to help you create these patterns more easily, in my opinion. So we have a square shape, it has 4 sides, and as I have discussed in the previous video, the translation method involves creating or cutting out a part from the square from one side and just sliding it to the opposite side. So the top goes to the bottom, or if we cut any part from the bottom, it goes towards the top. The left goes towards the right, or if we cut any part from the right, it goes to the left side. So that is the basic concept. Now in order to use this sphere and to create a shape from it, there are 2 ways we can approach it. Either we can have something in our mind, what kind of character or shape we want to create from this sphere, or we can start from there, or we can just start manipulating these lines and try to figure out what kind of shape we are looking. And if you try to imagine some kind of shape in it, it's kind of like looking at the clouds and trying to find some kind of shapes or characters in them. So it kind of works like that. So let me just name these sides. You don't have to name these sides, it is just, I'm just doing it to help you understand it. So let's say this side is called A, the top side is called A, and let's say this side is called side B. So we now have our 2 sides. The first thing that we are going to do is to convert it into a symbol. So I'm going to select all these 3 elements, the letters A and B and the rectangle. Actually we only need the rectangle, we do not need these letters, but it is just there to help you understand it. So I'm going to open the symbols panel and press create. By the way, if you do not have the symbols panel, you can go to view, studio and choose this option symbols. Anyway, so after selecting these three elements, I'm just going to press create to create. Actually, we need to first bring these elements inside that rectangle so that we only create one symbol. So I have selected this rectangle and then I'm just going to press create, and now we have only one symbol. So guys, now we want to cut out part from one side and move it on the other side, but as you can see, it is going to be slightly difficult to imagine it. So in order to make it easy, we are just going to copy this symbol, press Ctrl J, and then slide it on the other side. You are now seeing the same concept. We are cutting any part from the one side and sliding it on the other side, but we are not actually cutting it anything. We are just moving the whole sphere at this moment. Again, we are going to select this one, press Ctrl J, and now let's slide it down here like that. So we just slide it down A from top to the bottom, as you can see, and B from left towards the right side. So here you can see B is on the inside of this sphere, and then if we see this B here, it is on the outside of this our main sphere. Same is the case with the letter A. It is inside and this sphere, but on the outside of this sphere is also A. So you hopefully you are now seeing what I'm trying to do here. Then I'm going to select the same A sphere and then copy it and move it on this side. Again, select this one, copy it and move it on the top side like that. Okay, now we do not need any kind of letters at this moment because I want to show you something else. So in order to use this formation and create a tessellation from it, we need to delete certain lines. As you can see, I have named the top and the left. I did not name the right line or the bottom lines. So clearly now you can see that we can delete the right line and the bottom line of this sphere shape. But one thing that you need to keep in mind is that actually just delete these lines first. So I'm going to first convert it into curves. Select that bottom point here of this curve in this center sphere, select the bottom point, and then at the top use this option break curve. Then I can just simply delete this point, select this point again, this is the right side line, delete it again. But we still have our main sphere, and that is because we slided it on the right side and on the left side and the top and the bottom. So that is why we are seeing our center sphere. Now let me show you something amazing. So if I just select this curve and try to create down, you can see that I'm just moving the top line, but the bottom line is also moving in the same way, in the exact same way as I'm moving in the top way. Let me undo it. So the same thing happens to this side. So if I just move this line rightwards, the bottom one, the left and the right one moves along with it, and I can move it like that. So now you can see that we do not have to cut the parts and move them on the other side. The other sides are going to be automatically created when we move one side. Now we are ready to create some kind of shape in our this kind of sphere. But before we do that, you need to know some kind of rules that we need to follow. The rules are very simple. The first thing is that we should not move these vertices points. Let me just highlight these. So we have these 4 corner points of our basic sphere. So the first rule is to never move these points. So if I just select this sphere, so never move these points. If you move these points, you will not get any tessellation. So never ever move these corner points. You can move the lines joining these 2 corner points however you feel like, but never ever move the corner points. The second rule is to never ever cross these lines. So if I just make it like that, you can see that the line is crossing this vertical line. Never ever cross 2 lines. So these are the two rules that you need to follow. Never ever move the vertices or the corner points, and never ever cross the lines. Now let's start by creating the shape. The first step would be to create the straight line. So currently you can see that I can click on this line and start moving, and I'm kind of getting this curved line. That is not a good way to start creating these tessellations. The good way would be to create straight lines or the points. So let me just create a point here by just clicking it once with this white arrow tool. You can see here it's not a node tool here. Just click it once on the line and it will just convert it into a point. It will create an anchor point here at this point, or a node at this point, and now you can move this node, and now you can see that I'm getting a straight line here instead of getting you can say that a vertical or a curvature line. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. So let's start by, let's say we want to create some kind of bird or something. So maybe on this here lower side, or maybe let's say that at the top here we are going to create head of a bird. So maybe move it here, and then let's just create some point here, and then move it down like that. So we are just adding the points or the curvature points, and then trying to give it a shape, a basic stencil shape, or you can say a silhouette shape to our design. Let's start by moving this left line so that we can see what kind of shape we want to get. So let's just maybe make this one a wing here, and maybe make this one kind of like a tail. So as you are adding the points, you might seeing some kind of lines here and there. So this may be kind of maybe create a beak here at this point, so something like that. So it is just manipulating these lines and trying to figure out what kind of shape you are getting from your this kind of design. Let's see what kind of shape we are getting here. So maybe this one is another wing here. I can clearly see that this part here can be can serve as you can say head of a bird. Either it can be a bird or it can be a fish, depending upon the final shape we get once we once we finish with this one. So I'm just trying to manipulate these lines and these points and trying to create something meaningful out of this whole mess of lines that we have. As you can see, I'm trying to create a tail here around this B region. So I'm currently just moving these points, but I'm looking at this area as well, because I do not want to create any kind of weird shape around this area. I want to create kind of like a belly shape or the lower neck area at this area. So I'm not trying to create a tail like that, which will give me a weird shape of this neck. So I'm just not looking at the points which I'm just moving. I'm also looking at the points which are on the other side, on the opposite side, and trying to figure out and trying to create a shape that is going to give me a meaning in our design. So guys, after manipulating these points and these lines, I'm kind of seeing a shape here that I like here. So this area here is going to serve as the beak. I will be here. These two parts will be the wings of this bird, and this is going to be tail. And this area here is I'm just going to create some, let's say, legs here in this area. So let's see how this looks. So now that we have our basic shape ready, a polygon shape, because each and every point we have as a line, now we can turn these points into curves and try to create curvatures or smooth points in this location. So let's say at this point here, this area, I can just at the top go and select this point, this option, convert to smooth line, and I can create something like that, a smooth area like that. So it is not only giving our wing a smooth curvature, it is also creating a curvature in this tail area as well. Same thing I'm just going to do here. Let's just select, manipulate this point here, add this point here like that, and then try to create a curvature in this area, in this lower wing area, this side here. So I'm going to select this point, maybe convert it into a smooth point and try to give it curvature like that. And then I might delete some of these points because they are very close to each other. So I can select this point here and again convert it into smooth point and try to give it a curvature like that, and create a shape of this tail here in this point area, and also trying to create kind of like legs area on the other side, just looking on the other side. Same is the case with this one. I can just convert this point into smooth point and give it some kind of shape like that. Maybe erase this point here, bring it more inside. So this point can be a smooth point or this point, depending upon how you feel. So this point again can be a smooth point. I can adjust its handles like that. Also trying to form the wing shape here, and not only that, I'm also trying to form the other side here as well by just adjusting and modifying these points. So this looks fine. Now I'm just going to maybe adjust this point here to give it a smooth curvature, remove maybe this point, select this point, give it a smooth curvature like that. So one more thing that we can do here at this point, and that is to give our corner areas, corner points, a smooth shape as well. So for example, this one here, this corner point is a simple line. So I can convert it into a smooth part and try to give it a smooth shape. So we have our basic shape kind of ready, and I'm just trying to make sure that it looks good, it does not look weird. Although you can see that these kind of creatures are not the perfect looking, they have kind of like a stylistic design to them. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. You cannot create something too realistic using these techniques. And you guys, this looks fine, and this is now kind of looking like a shape of the bird. And now the next step is going to be, when you are satisfied with the basic fillet shape, just imagine it in your mind if it is according to what something that you like. So it is kind of looking good to me, and the next step is going to be adding details to your illustration. And but before we do that, we need to convert this basic bird shape into a single tile, and so that we can just replicate it in the rest of the document. But as you can see that we have the whole thing in the form of symbols, so at this point we cannot actually do it. We need to release these shapes from the symbol. So we do not need these A and B lines anyway, so I'm just going to select these and delete them. and now we have our basic shape, the basic silhouette shape that we can use. And in order to release it, what we can do here, just hide these. You can see that I have not changed these corner points. These corner points just staying at the same point where they were originally. Now I'm going to select all of these symbols that I created. And by the way guys, this step is not I would say reversible, so make sure that you manipulate all these points, be satisfied with your design at this point, because the next step is going to release these lines from the symbols and you will not be able to go back. So although you can undo it and then start doing it again, but I would highly suggest to just take your time to create the shape from these lines and then move to the next step. And then I'm going to select all of these symbols. At the top in the symbols panel, I'm going to choose this option called detach, and now those symbols are converted into groups. Now without deselecting anything, I'm just going to right click and choose this option, ungroup all. Okay, now we have these lines or curvatures left only. Now what we are going to do is to delete everything except the one thing, the lines that are giving our main shape or the main tile a basic shape of what we want. So let me show you what I mean. So currently you can see that this whole zigzag line, the whole shape, we do not need it because our shape is at this region. So select that one and press delete. Same is the case with this one. Select this one, press delete, select this one, and now if we delete this one, the bottom part of our shape gets deleted, so which we do not want. So let me undo it. So what we want is to delete parts of it, just the ones that we do not want. So I do not want these parts here, and I'm going to select these parts with this this white arrow tool or the node tool, and then press delete. Now we have half of our shape, half of our line here intact with it. Same is the case with this one, we do not need half of it. So I've selected these points and press delete. Now we have our main tile, the basic shape ready, but that is broken into different lines which we do not want. So select any two lines and try to join these points. So this was the just remember that this was the corner point, we need to join these points. So let's select these one, and at the top we have this option join curves. Same is the case with this one. Let me show you where these points are. So this line and this line, we need to join these as well. At this point we need to join it, and the same case here, I think we need to join this one. Currently you can see that it's broken, so we do not want it. Let me undo it, select these 2 points and at the top option join it. And now let's check if we have any kind of broken points or not by moving these corner points. So if the whole shape moves, then it means that it's joined, and if it does not move, then means it is not joined. So check these, moving it and then undoing it, so that do not mess your shape. Okay, now it is time to create details in our shape to give it the character or the element that we want. So as you can already see that I have given it kind of like a bird or creature shape, and I'm going to give it kind of details here, and that is going to take another lot of time for you. And just be creative and try to give the details as much you want. So I'm just going to speed up this process for you. So guys, I have just finished filling the details in the bird shape, and now we can use it to tile our rest of the document. So in order to fill the document, the best process would be to clip it inside the square shape. Now if I just try to press Ctrl J and copy it and try to move it here, sometimes it would not snap, and that would cause kind of problem. But in order to just make it easy, all you have to do is select that square shape, create a square, and remember the first square that we created it into 300 by 300 size. So if I just create the same size square and then just align it at the center, it still arranges itself at those initial corner points that we have. So if I just hide the bird and show you these corner points, it still places itself at the same location. So we can use that and then clip our bird shape inside that square. So before I do that, I can just simply select that curve shape or the bird shape with all the details, go into the symbols and turn it into a symbol, so that if we need to change the colors, you can easily do it. Then I'm going to clip it inside our square shape like that, select that square shape, and then simply press Ctrl J, copy it and slide it like that. Now as it is the copy of this thing, the both bird shapes are in the same color. So if I just remove this symbol from that clipping square and remove that symbol as well, you can see that we are getting the same bird color, which we do not want. So in order to fix that, what I would recommend is select that second symbol that we created, go to the symbols tab and detach it, then recolor it, change its color slightly, just slightly as you see fit. So the main color here is red, so instead of red, let me just bring maybe make kind of a teal color here. So that looks fine. You can adjust other colors as well as you see fit. So but we can just do it at the later stages. I'm just wanted to give it slightly different color, and then I'm going to select that shape that we have, the different colored one, go to the symbols and create a new one. Now we have two different colored characters which we can independently change if we want. Again, I'm going to select this one, bring it inside that square, select this one, bring it inside the first square like that. Then I can select this second one, this blue or teal color, press Ctrl J to copy it and then move it on the other side like that. And by the way, if it is not snapping, if you are facing this issue, because this issue occurs sometimes, so if it is not snapping like that, as you can see here, currently it is not snapping and we need to move it precisely. So let me just delete it. So what you would do in that case is select the one that you want to copy, select this symbol or this group or rectangle shape, living mask, whatever you want to call it, press Ctrl J to copy it and then move it precisely on the other location, on the other side. So as you can see, our square shape is 300 pixels or 300 points. So if I just move this 300 in the negative area, so 750 minus 300, it places it on this location because that was 300 points again. So which means that I need to move it 300 more, so minus 300 again, and now it is placed at a perfect location like that. Then what I'm going to do is select this red one, press Ctrl J to copy it, and then again, instead of doing it two times, minus 300, I'm just simply going to put minus 600 here, and as you can see, it has now perfectly placed at this location. Select this one again, press Ctrl J, copy it, and instead of minus 300, now I want to move it on the right direction. So I'm going to add 600 here instead of minus 600. Now it is placed at the perfect location. Now we can select all of these symbols that we created, press Ctrl J to copy them, move them up like that, and it perfectly snaps. But again, you can see that we have two tiles that are of the same color adjacent to each other. So the easiest way would be to simply move it slightly left. So currently we have here in this location, let me just move it minus 300 And now we have two different tiles that are adjacent to each other. Let me just delete this one because it is going beyond it. We do not want it. Select that tile, press Ctrl J, and as you can see our document size was 1200, so I can just simply put plus 1200 in this location, and now we have perfectly placed it in this location. Now all we have to do is select all of these, press Ctrl J to copy it and move them down like that. And again you can see that it's not snapping. This happens sometimes. Let me undo it a couple of times. So one thing that you might want to check here is that we have these options checked. So instead of 6, let me just increase it to 12, 13, 15. Put a higher number here, and let's see if that fixes the problem. So if I press Ctrl J to copy it and now try to snap it, it still is not snapping. So this is the problem here. Sometimes it occurs, but anyway it does not matter. Let us just move it on this location and it snaps perfectly at that location. And now we can create a copy of this one. Press down and move it down like that, and now it snaps on the other side like that. Now it works perfectly. Anyway, now you can see that we have filled our document, but it is kind of flipping inside those rectangles which we do not want. So all we have to do is just bring those symbols outside the rectangle one by one. Start deleting the rectangle because we do not need it anymore. Go to the next one, bring it outside and start deleting the ones that we do not want. Repeat this process until you are finished with the symbols only without these rectangles. So now you guys see that we have a perfect tessellation of these beautiful birds that we created. We can just save it and export it as a PNG image. One thing that you can see here, that we are seeing these empty spaces here at the top that we needed to fix, which I should have fixed earlier, but anyway we can fix it again here at this point. So select this bottom row, this one, all these ones that we have created, press Ctrl J to copy them and then move them minus 1200 at the top. So minus 1200, and now they are placed at the perfect location. Same is the case with this one. We need to select this row that we have created, although we should have done it before releasing them from that square, but anyway we can do it here at this point. So we have selected this row, these birds, press Ctrl J to copy it and then move them down 1200, and now they have moved down, and now we have a perfect tiling of these birds. We can export it as a PNG image and check it if it looks good or not. So let me just do that, file and export, select PNG image and then export. You can create a new document, does not matter what size, with any shape, any square or any shape at all, it does not matter because we are just testing the pattern. Select that fill tool and just type from solid, choose the bitmap and select that PNG image that you just exported. And now we can just scale it down and see if it tiling perfectly or if we are seeing any kind of weird lines or something. So as you can see here, it has tiled perfectly and we got this beautiful pattern of these birds that looks quite interesting. And the best thing about this is that you can select any of these symbols. For example, if I want to change the color of these red ones, I can simply go into the symbol, select that bird curve shape and change it to whatever color I want. So maybe kind of like a blue color, darker blue, something like that. And I can change these ones that have this teal color, select the symbol, go inside it, select that curve shape and change it to whatever eye color I want. So maybe parrot green color, that would look interesting. So you can see that not only you can change the main colors of the bird or body shape, you can also change the interior color as well. For example, this green parrot one, I want to give these white areas in the wings some kind of different look, so I can select all these white areas inside that one, these white wing areas, and I can give it slightly different color to it. So something like that as well. You can easily control each and everything separately in this way. So guys, that's how you can easily create these kind of tessellation patterns inside Affinity Designer. Guys, hopefully this tutorial has been helpful for you in understanding this process. So this was the translation method of creating these patterns. And one other thing that I would recommend here quickly is that when you create a new symbol, a different colored one, maybe change the eye shape or change the eye color and the expression of the character as well. That will give your characters a different look, a unique look as well. So do change that as well if you want to create something more interesting. So guys, hopefully this video has been helpful for you in understanding this process and in creating these beautiful cool looking patterns. And if so, make sure that you like the video and let me know in the comments below. And also, if you have any questions or confusion regarding this method and anything in this video, you can ask me in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer those questions and help you in this regard. By the way, I have more videos coming on the same topic using different shapes. As you can see, we have used square shape in this one, but we are going to use different polygon shapes as well and try to create something more different and unique in the future. So if you do not want to miss that, don't forget to press the bell button as well after the subscribe button. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.